Hey Tabs, a few days ago you gave yourself a self-reflection over your growth over the last 6 weeks or so. Today we'd like to shift that reflection on your teachers. You'll see in college that students are asked to evaluate their professors, their instructors at the end of a semester. And we'd like you to be prepared for that and practiced in that kind of understanding about what you do as a student and how you relate to your instructors. We'd like to use this opportunity for you to practice learning that, but another reason is we'd like to help our teachers grow in their ability to teach students and understand how their students respond and reflect on their teaching practices. So what we'd like you to do is to take some time and really give your teachers the evaluation that you feel is most effective in helping them grow as teachers, as educators. So we're going to ask that you do this for every one of your teachers. And since this is a fairly lengthy piece, you will be asked to do maybe your A-Day teachers today and your B-Day teachers next time. So you'll see that the first question is, who is the teacher? So you pick a teacher. Say you have Miss Elliott for biology. You just click her name, just like that. And then what course did you have her for? You had her for biology. You have her for biology, so you check that. And then you start answering the questions. And generally, we're going to use a scale. Does this teacher never do this? Does this teacher occasionally do this? Maybe once or twice or a few times over the 6 weeks. Most of the time, meaning each week this happens. Maybe not every day, but happens each week. And then all of the time. Every day, every time your class meets, etc. So the first question, my teacher expects us to recall information learned in previous classes and use that in this class. Does this teacher ask you to recall information that you learned or information that was gone over in a previous course or a previous class so that you could use it in that particular day or that particular lesson? Second one, my teacher ties in content from other subjects. If it is your history teacher, are they tying in math or science or English or something else? If it's your world language teacher, are they tying in some other subject matter? If it's your fine arts teacher, are they tying in science or social studies or history? Do they do this never, occasionally, most of the time, or all of the time? And then my teacher requires us to use our strengths to help one another grow in this class. Are you able to use your strengths in groups or in collaborative lessons where you can use what you're good at to be successful in that classroom? My teacher shows that my individual talents and strengths are valued in this class. Does your teacher value your individual talents and strengths? And do they show that? My teacher gives me concrete feedback on my growth in this class. Do you just get a grade? Do you get a grade regularly? Do you get more than a grade? Do you get written feedback or verbal feedback from the teachers how you're doing on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or over the 6 weeks? My teacher gives us time in class for reflection. Are you able to reflect about what you're doing, what you've done and learned in class? Do you have time for that? Does the teacher give you time to do that? Is it either written or verbal, or just thought process? My teacher helps me build a bigger picture of what we are learning rather than just individual facts. Does your teacher help you put it together so that you see the big picture, not just small little facts about what you're doing in class? My teacher requires that we properly use technology in this class. Are you using technology in that particular teacher's class? Are you using it regularly? Are you using it properly? My teacher groups us in ways that allow us to own the group effort, but also maintain individual accountability. I hear that from time to time from students that because some of the students in their class lack collaborative skill, that sometimes they feel like they're being punished by working in groups. We know that that's an important skill that you need to work on, so we need to let you work in groups. but do you have individual accountability within the group in that teacher's class? My teacher challenges me to grow as a student and as a human being. Do you feel challenged in that class to grow, or is it simply just going through the motions? My teacher gives me the opportunity to monitor myself and correct my own mistakes. That's a huge skill, especially in high school and college. Are you able to monitor yourself and correct your own mistakes? Are you given that opportunity in this class? My teacher stays with the lesson until the whole class masters the objectives. Sometimes we get the idea that we have to move on quickly because there's so much content. But oftentimes, if a large number or even any of the students in the class are not getting something, they're not mastering it, there are opportunities for students to grow if a teacher creates the class in such a way that you could come in for tutoring. But is it part of the lesson to do that? My teacher requires that we set goals and make plans to achieve those goals. How does your teacher expect you to set goals in the classroom? Do they ever talk about it, or is it something that is just the norm in the class? My teacher allows us to use different types of thinking. Are we analytical? Are we creative? Do we do research-based lessons in this class? My teacher asks questions that really make me think hard on a topic. This should be self-explanatory. My teacher gives us time to think about our answers before moving on to another student. Is there wait time when a teacher asks? Are you having to think before you find out who has to answer the question? My teacher leads us in a variety of activities that help students in different learning styles. When we're confused, my teacher takes time to help us understand the topic better. Does the teacher take a few moments, if need be, to explain something differently or more so that the students in the class understand and so that you understand? When we become disengaged, my teacher adapts and finds ways to help us be better engaged. Is the teacher adapting to the class, or is the teacher moving through in a single method? And you have to follow along in that way. My teacher gives students in class some leadership responsibilities. Are students in your class expected to show leadership skills, demonstrate those leadership skills, have responsibilities to do certain things in the class? My teacher uses consistent routines in the class. If the teacher says no phones ever, is that the consistent rule? And is the teacher consistent with those routines about turning in lessons, turning in papers, getting back papers, etc., etc.? I feel safe in the class. I feel safe to speak my mind appropriately. I feel safe from the retaliation of others, including my teacher. My teacher uses positive reinforcements for good behavior in this class. I feel really good about the positive reinforcements my teacher gives. Or maybe my teacher doesn't give good reinforcements, positive reinforcements for good behavior. How does that look in your class, in this class? My teacher allows for student input in what behavior is allowed in the class. Do students have a say in the way behavior is allowed to happen in the class? Or is it strictly what the teacher said from the beginning and no one can question that or change that or alter or give suggestions? I feel I have a good rapport with this teacher. I'm connecting with this teacher in a way that I can understand what's going on in the class. I feel it's fair and we're able to move and learn in this class, or not. Students collaborate positively and are able to work well together in this class. Is collaboration key in this classroom? Is it happening on a regular basis? And is it positive? My teacher behaves ethically in this class. I feel like the teacher is fair to all of us, and that my teacher is always working hard to help students in the class. My teacher is an advocate for all students in this class. Is your teacher advocating for you? Is your teacher helping you inside and outside the classroom? The way my teacher runs this class helps me learn. And then once you've connected that, hit submit, and you'll be given the opportunity to submit for each one of your teachers. I want to go back just a second and remind you that if your teacher is a teacher who is a TCC instructor and not a Fort Worth ISD teacher, you can click TCC. And if you have a teacher that's not in the tabs building, there's a place for other, and you can actually add the name of the teacher to that category. Please take the time to give each of your teachers a valid response to help them grow, whether they're doing a great job already or not. Thank you.